Hi, my name is Maria Zarate, a mother of two little ones, a boy and a girl. When my son was born, I saw many hand and footprints for scrapbooking, just so many different ideas, and fell in love with all of them, but just didn't think it was right to put them in a book and just leave them in there. So I said there has to be a way where I can make something that I could put over his crib and just display, but that it could be lightweight, since it's going to be over his crib, just cute and kind of personal as well. So what I thought of doing was these baby footprint and handprint canvases that I made for him. And I will be showing you how to make one that I actually just made for my daughter. But if you stay tuned till the end, you will see the work that I did for him. So you will see the final piece of his as well. So I hope you enjoy. On here, I'll show you the materials that you're going to be using. Canvas size is optional. Obviously, it depends on how big or small you're going to want it. You could also do the foot and the handprint on one, which would also be really cute to do. Your acrylic paint, you will be using two colors. The one that's going to go on the bottom, and then the top one, the one that's going to crack. So make sure that you select, or that you choose your piece of paper, the one that's going to have a design, and you could, more than anything, choose that first and then select your colors that you're going to be using on your canvas. You're going to need crackle medium, just a very small amount, but the only one that I did see that they sold was at Michael's, and it's a pretty large bottle, so you could use it or share it with your friends. 3 sponges, one for each color and for your crackle. These obviously are just about 30 cents each, and you could just use them and toss them after. A ruler, a pencil, a can of spray glue, a sheet of beige cardstock paper, 1 sheet of paper, the one with the design, and mounting tape, and some little accessories. You could either do I did wooden initials, which I painted as well, and I used a button to accessorize it, but you could go ahead and choose anything that you like. So first, we're going to try to find the center of our mat. So what I did is I made an X across the mat from corner to corner. That will find my center, and then you could decide how big you want your rectangle to be, where is the section where you're going to be placing your layers of paper and your baby footprints in there as well. So my canvas is a 12 by 9 and my rectangle is a 7 by 5. We want to leave enough space around to show that crackle effect with our paint. So first, once you do your rectangle, we're gonna add our base color. So I chose a dark chocolate brown, and once you add a layer of that, you're gonna notice that you're gonna see a lot of streaks in there, but it's not gonna matter, because keep in mind that we're gonna go ahead and add our crackle paint, and then we're gonna add our second color on there. So if you see those streaks of your sponge brush, it's just really not gonna matter, so don't worry about it. Then we're going to go ahead, once that's completely dry, your base color is completely dry, you're going to want to add a layer of your clear medium crackle. So as you can see, you could see all my brown strokes on there, but it's not going to matter, like I said. So just go ahead and apply a not too thin, but not too dripping thick layer of that medium crackle on there. Once that's completely dry, then you want to go ahead and take your top coat, which would be your second color of paint, and do the same. Apply a layer on there. You don't want to go too thick on here, because you do want the crackle to show. You do want it to crack. So once you're applying that, you're going to start seeing your streaks. But if you give it a few seconds after that, you're going to start noticing the crackle effect take place. And that's when you start seeing that bottom color, whether it's darker or lighter, come up on your board. Now first, we're going to take a piece of our beige paper. Now we do want it to be a little bit on the thicker side, so I went ahead and I purchased the cardstock one, not regular printing paper. So once I cut out the piece of the rectangle, the same size that I left that unpainted section on my board, I went ahead and I just, crumbled it up, and just, I also wet the edges just to give it a bit of a distressed feeling or look to it. So like I said, just crumble it up, open it, crumble it up again, wet those edges, and just try to make it look nice and distressed. Now, this is the top paper. This is the design paper that I chose. Now we want to cut this rectangle 1/2 inch smaller from each side. So we could go ahead and still see the beige paper once we place this one on top. And on this one, I did the same thing. I just cut the paper and I crumbled it up and just wet the edges. But I also went an extra step on this one, and I grabbed a lighter and just burned some of the edges off, some of the parts in the paper. Just put the lighter or the match right under the paper and just let it change color. So once that heat starts going through, you're going to start noticing how those parts start looking semi-burn or just darker. It gives it a really, really nice effect. Then for my daughter, I didn't take the time to, when she was smaller, to take the prints of her feet and her hands. So still wanted to do this piece for her. So what I did is I took her record of birth, the one that they actually gave you in the hospital. And what I did is I just went ahead and I first made a copy on regular white paper of the actual record of birth that they gave me. Once that's done, I went ahead and I cut out the footprints. So I cut them out and I just put tape behind them. So tape them together so they look like they're closer together. Then what I went ahead and I did is I printed those footprints on a thicker kind of like paper bag paper, but it's thicker than that, some like cardboard almost paper, and I printed the footprints on that paper. Once that's done, I took spray glue and just glued all my layers together. Sometimes, depending on the type of spray glue you buy, some of it is really, really strong and it sticks right away. Some of it doesn't. It starts lifting, especially because the paper is thicker. So what I did is I just placed all 3 of my layers inside a book and just let it sit there for about 30 minutes until it was completely like it's glued together. Now I went ahead and, like I said, I purchased these little initials or little wooden initials at Michael's, and I painted them with the same paint that I used on my base coat. Then I took an accessory, a little button, and I put thread through it. I actually put thread through the button and then put a little bit of glue in the back and glued that on the back, the little piece of string, so it wouldn't come off. Now you can use, like I said, anything, any sort of accessories. You could use flowers, rhinestones, or if you're trying to incorporate a certain design that you have in your nursery or in your bedding for your crib. It would actually look really cute if you try to, match all those colors and accessories together. Once I took the layers out of my book, everything was completely dry. I went ahead and I glued the initials and my accessory on the layers. And once I did that, I went ahead and I spray glued my layers of paper with my little footprints and initials onto the canvas. Now what I also did is the canvas and the paper being semi-textured was lifting with just the spray glue, so I added 4 little dots of hot glue with the hot glue gun on the paper, and then I went in and I placed it on the mat just to secure those pieces in place. And I really, really dislike making holes on my walls just because I move things around all the time. So what I decided to do is just buy mounting tape instead. And with that mounting tape, I went ahead and I just put it on the 4 corners so I could just prevent from having to make holes in the wall. But if you like, you could buy little hooks that they sell at Home Depot or Lowe's or Osh, any of those hardware stores. I think they actually sell them at Michael's as well. And just nail those in there. And, you could just go ahead and make your holes on your walls. And we're done. So now all you could do is just stand back and enjoy your piece of art. And this is definitely something that your kids are going to enjoy and want to keep because it was made with so much love just for them. And on here you could see the one I did for my son. I did It's him being my firstborn. I did make prints of his hands as well. So for him, I do have his hands and his footprints, which is actually really, really cute. And just I put them side by side over his crib, and it was just really, really nice to see when he was growing, how I was able to make this and keep this for him to share with his children one day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little slideshow of our baby footprint canvas, and it was a pleasure making it.